Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dave, and we're the IB English guys. Today we're going to talk about the Mini I.O., and we're going to apply that to a documentary that we love.
Yeah, the documentary is called Breaking Boundaries. That's directed by Jonathan Clay and narrated by David Attenborough. It talks about climate change, and we believe this is an excellent opportunity, the Mini I.O., to work on your skills and get some essential practice so you can excel when it's time for the big day.
Yeah, today we're going to first just talk briefly about breaking boundaries, then we're going to preview the task and give you some specific instructions that we gave to students, and finally we're going to look at the student workbook and give an example of an actual Mini I.O. and have you listen to that.
Yeah, we're really fortunate that our student once again has volunteered to share her work, and I think you're really going to enjoy it and learn a great deal.
That's right. So again, Breaking Boundaries is the scientific journey about the world-renowned scientist.
Scientific journey?
Yeah. This professor named Johan Rockström, who's made it his mission to educate people about these 9 planetary boundaries that we are basically crossing. And it talks about climate change, it talks about air pollution and many other environmental issues that we're facing today. And it's a dire warning about what's happening, but also offers some solutions about how we can reverse this trend.
Yeah, and students and teachers, sometimes we find it difficult to tap into that field of inquiry, science, nature, and technology, and we feel that this film was an excellent opportunity to do just that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the Mini I.O., what we did with a Mini I.O., to give you an idea of our instructions for the students, it was half of the individual oral. They were focusing on the one text. And the first thing that we asked them to do was to introduce that global issue and define the global issue specifically and connect that to that field of inquiry.
Once they've done that, of course, we've asked them to choose a sequence of film that was approximately 1.5 to 2 minutes long, and to also consider, the soundtrack, the visual track, and the graphics track, and really talk about those 2 or 3 extracts in great detail while trying to cover all elements of documentaries.
Yeah, that's right. And then finally, we asked the students to zoom out, where they were again thinking about the whole body of work, in this case, the whole documentary, and where else they see this global issue present.
I think it's really important to emphasize that at no time did any of our students ever write a script. We highly discourage that. We want our students to be able to speak comfortably and naturally and academically about this film.
Right. However, what the students were asked to do, and you'll see an example in a moment, is we asked the student to have a workbook where they were actually creating notes, creating outlines, and planning for their recording. We gave them some specific time limits as well. We wanted a 1-minute introduction. We wanted a 2-minute zoom in and a 2-minute zoom out.
Yeah, and that workbook, it lives in the learner portfolio with the rest of our students' work, and I think it only took about 2 class days for them to go through this.
Yeah, it was good, and I thought again, it produced some really excellent results. So what we'd like to do now is we'd like to show you a sample workbook from a student for you to see her thinking and her planning, and then finally we're going to look at her transcript of this short Mini I.O. And we'd encourage you to try this out because you can do this with any text you studied in your class.
Yeah, teachers out there, Mr. Giles and I, we've gone through this process so many times on our own, and we feel that by going through it ourselves, it's really enabled us to anticipate the problems that our students will have, and we can help them much, much better.
That's right. So again, this is the student workbook. Let's have a look at just the beginning part that she looked at. She had some bullet points that she was going to use in her introduction. These are just contextual things about the film itself. Again, this would help her with her introduction, these bullet points.
Of course, just like any other introduction, she does conclude by delivering the global issue and really trying to articulate a main claim from the film.
Yeah.
Of course, once she's finished the intro, she's chosen to start with the zoom in, so she will present 3 extracts. And in each of those 3 extracts, she'll talk about the visual aspect, the audio aspect, as well as a graphics aspect if that is present.
That's right. So each screenshot is labeled really nicely. I really like the way she's even titling her screenshots. That's a nice touch. And again, after that, she's got the transcript of what we hear in her sequence. Very smart.
Thank you, student, for including the transcript. Why do we like the transcript so much?
Well, this is a language course, and we need to make sure that we're paying attention to the language. And when we study film, there's a tendency to forget to talk about the language of the sequence. And so she's doing a really good job of typing that out. And again, this is going to help her talk about different features of the extract.
Yeah, once she's chosen her screenshots, Mr. Giles, she wants to go forward and create her zoom in outline. And you can see here in her outline, she's sort of divided up by each screenshot. And if you look very carefully, you can see that in screenshot 1, for example, she's going to look at the visual aspect of the zebra. She wants to talk about statistics. That's probably some language on a graphics track she sees. And also she wants to talk about the soundtrack, the tempo, the rapid tempo of the music.
Yeah, and I think, again, these small bullet points. They're going to give her talking points that she can look at. We weren't as rigid about the 10 bullet point outline because we really wanted to give students a chance to just write simple notes that can help them produce a really good mini IO. Then we see the zoom out outline. Same thing. We see the student focusing on different moments in the film where we see the global issue. And again, paying attention to that global issue. And she's got some good notes that she can then use that are anchored in a moment in the beginning of the film, in the middle of the film, and at the end of the film.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart choice by her to show that she is an expert of the entire film, the entire body of work, and she can find that global issue throughout the entire work, not just in one cherry-pick section.
This might be a great time for you to pause the video and actually listen to that recording that we attached. I think that's really useful. It's 5 minutes long, and then you can hear her deliver all these great little nuggets of wisdom and hear just an excellent IO, really good example.
Okay, welcome back, and we hope that you enjoyed that. We were very, very impressed by just how natural and confident her delivery was, and she really, I hope you agree, she sounded like a true master of the text.
That's right. And we see in her introduction, she does a great job of just establishing the text that she's going to talk about, give a little context, mention the field of inquiry, and then she ends with this very strong global issue that really talks about the climate change crisis, how vulnerable the world is, and also this idea of connectivity and unity. Really nice.
Yeah, by focusing on connectivity and unity, she's really shown us as her teachers that she has understand a really nuanced and a very important detail of the text itself, which is that idea of connectivity.
Yeah, and then in her zoom in, we see, again, references to specific images and sound bites that we hear, that we see and hear. So we see those references to the screenshot and the text, as well as different features, different moves different authorial choices by the director, such as the shots and framing, use of symbolism and the music and statistics. So we see a range of different things.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to add, Mr. Giles, that the prominence of the orange, for some reason when I listen to students talk about films, I often find that they're quite descriptive and they're not really talking about authors, choices, and viewers. So I really think that our student here has been very, very focused not to talk about and summarize the film, but to talk about those particular choices and the effects on the audience.
That's right. Next, we see screenshot number 2, where she's talking about the computerized graphics and the different moments that she's talking about there. And I thought that was really a really excellent point as well. And then we have the third screenshot.
Yeah, and then when you continue into the third screenshot, again, we see that she wants to talk about the computer-generated images. Very intelligent to do so, but then if you look at her next sentence, again, she's combining that with sound. So what this student is doing is seamlessly, integrating all 3 tracks into her analysis, once again showing that she understands how documentaries work, how they're filmed, how they're edited, and the impact that they're trying to make on a viewer.
That's right. And then we see that good transition to the entire body of work where the students are going to again zoom out. We see again during the zoom out, she's still making references to things that we see, and she's still making references to techniques and authorial choices, but also mentioning another sequence in the film that has the global issue present.
Students also, we really love the phrase throughout the body of work. That is a flashing sign for your examiner indicating that you are switching gears and moving to another aspect of the IO, and she's building really good skills and habits through this practice.
Yeah, so we hope that by looking at this student's workbook and also by looking at the transcript of what she said in the IO, again, she did not write this transcript as a script.
I did.
He did. And I think it's, again, just a good example of just strong IO skills and really strong organization and good analysis of a great documentary.
Teachers, it's also, in closing, it's a great way to close a documentary. You've studied this body of work together as a class, you've talked about it. It's a great opportunity to give a student an opportunity to show their knowledge while also practicing the essential skills for the IO.
Yeah.
So we hope that this has been helpful for you. We hope that you try this on your own, and we think that it has led our students to great success, and we're hopeful that it will lead you to success as well. Again, please keep watching our channel. Let us know in the comments what you want. We've had quite a few requests, and many of these videos are in response to requests. So let us know, and we will make the video for you. Thanks for joining, and take care.